I'm going to talk about the digital ID scheme now, the digital ID card that Keir Starmer is so keen on because Tony Blair told him to be keen on it. Lord Ashcroft, who is also a top pollster, he wrote a piece in the Mail. I was struck by the headline, pretty much sums it up. He said, this ID card scheme is classic Starmer. It's expensive, intrusive and utterly pointless. What does it do that we don't already have? And why are they saying, well, you'll need this to use the NHS, doctors, social services, you know, the police will no doubt want you to show it. Well, why? We don't need it. We've got our passports for identification. We've got national insurance numbers for employment. We don't actually need this. This is just a socialist government that wants to keep control over the peasants, as in us. Let's talk to Alan Miller, co-founder of the Together Declaration. Morning, Alan. Before we talk, bear with us, if you will. Let's have a listen to Keir Starmer waxing lyrical about his wonderful digital ID card scheme.
So I'm in Brighton today. This is Barclays Bank, and I've been talking to customers about digital ID, and they're really enthusiastic. It'll have your basic information on it. For everything other than proving you've got a right to work, it won't be mandatory. You don't have to have it, but you can have it. You can use it for anything that requires identification, and there are lots of things. If you want to rent, for example, if you want to apply for a mortgage, if you want to get your child into primary school, there's a catchment area, and you've got to show where you live, proving who you are, what your date of birth is, will just be able to be done with digital ID. They're really up for it, and I think once you understand just how much easier it'll make life, so many more people will be too.
Well, Alan, there he is saying, it's totally voluntary, you don't really need it. And then he runs through all these things, getting a mortgage, going to a bank account, you know, using social services, the NHS, the doctors. In other words, what he said, you don't really need it, he said voluntary. And then he basically reels off all the reasons why, unless you have this card, you won't be able to function in this country. He's going to make it absolutely compulsory. And as Lord Ashcroft says, we don't need it. Do we? Well, there's no reason for this card at all, except for a socialist government that classically Soviet style wants to keep tabs on the peasants, as in us, right?
Yeah, good morning, Kevin. I mean, I think it's absolutely the case that it's not needed a centralised database surveying biometrics state. It's interesting that he says it's utterly pointless, Lord Ashcroft, because actually there is a point to it, which is precisely those things, precisely the ability to track and survey and snoop and spy and limit and censor. And we only have to look at what's been going on in the last 5 years to see them doing that already. It's not like even the prospect of those things, everything from two-tier policing to being put in prison for some social media posts, not others, from the debanking scandal based on particular views, right through to data breaches and all of the concerns around that. He's also gone even further, Kevin. He's like that abuser that says, well, you better get rid of, you don't have to do it, but this is what we're going to do to you. It's my way or the highway, saying it's going to cost you £85 each time you have to do something, but you know, it's up to you. Threats, nudges, coercion, but yet this government doesn't have any solutions to the very real problems people are facing on a daily basis. The questions around the economy, 30,000 businesses gone down under his tenure, the fact that the issues with our borders, the question around how we organise our health, we're now being told even more taxes, and by the way, it's not going to be able to be paid for. We have to discuss all these issues, how to get a thriving, dynamic economy, but they're bereft of ideas, and instead, alongside the Tony Blair Institute, they present this silver bullet. The problem is, Kevin, even though people are talking about the digital ID cards, which is really essential, the BRIC card, as Labour Together call it, they've been pushing for some time the one login system. And the one login system is the verification that they've been getting people onto. And that's the thing that's already had whistleblowers around it, and that the government UK digital wallet sits on top of. And we're very concerned And that's why our campaign has been saying, like, around directors, no to forcing 8 million directors onto this. We've got an open letter and a petition. and the same with veterans, no to using veterans as guinea pigs or our kids for the children wellbeing school bill. And that we push back together, that we get everyone in the public, your viewers, your listeners, to say, we don't want this, we don't need this, and to say we're not going to have it, right? And to let our councillors and our MPs know there's May elections and say, you know, depending on what your position is on digital ID will be our vote, and really have a kind of tsunami reaction and response, because they're not going to be able to ignore us if we say we're not doing it. We've got toolkits about how to challenge this for directors, and to have a real big pushback, because the alternative is one where these technocrats who don't have any solutions for us are constantly surveying and nudging and pushing us, and we have to have some kind of verification to participate in British life. And our forefathers fought against any of that. So did our veterans, and it's unacceptable.
Yeah, that's it. There's no excuse for this that makes any sense. There's nothing this card will achieve for us that we can't achieve right now without it. There is no reason for it except for a government that wants to keep tabs on us. They say, well, you can't get a job without it, you know, from now on. Well, what way is that different to the fact you can't get a job right now unless you've got a national insurance number? You know, oh, you can't get a bank account now without it. Well, or a mortgage. Well, in what way is that different to what we have to do now? Give in our passports, give in identification. Nothing about this makes any logical sense. There is no reason for it apart from, I think, a socialist government that wants to keep tabs on it. So it's all about control, and you know what it's going to lead to. They talk about mortgages, bank accounts, using the NHS, doctors, so on, and social services. You're going to need it for all of that. And here's the other thing you're going to need it for, Alan. It's going to be, from now on, if we get these damn things, and for God's sake, let's keep resisting it, but if we get them, the first thing a copper will say to you when he pulls you up is, show us your paper, show me your papers, you know, your papers please. It'll turn this country, it's an assault on traditional British freedom. It's not British. We don't want to be a papers please dystopia. It's going to be, show me your papers please. There seems to be some sort of discrepancy. Come with me please. That's what we're talking about, and we don't want that, do we?
Well, exactly right. I mean, it's always dressed up in terms of safety and convenience, keeping you safe, keeping children safe, keeping the borders safe, or it's all just really convenient. Don't get the bill out of the drawer, and don't get that pesky passport. Here's a very convenient, easy way. And, you know, everything from verification to logging onto the internet and around the Online Safety Act and those questions, to all of these points, you know, around benefits, around childcare, around pensions, taxation. We know that the Department of Work and Pensions already created in a situation where they can go in to our bank accounts, civil servants, unelected, snooping, taking money out. Liz Kendall was overseeing that. The whole idea that you have to prove who you are to participate in British society is unacceptable. And that's why we really encourage people to come to togetherdeclaration.org to get involved. We've got rallies around the country, we've got events around the country, we're flyering, we're talking to councillors and MPs. We want the public to push back together on this and to give a resounding no to this. And we've also got a digital Bill of Rights that says we must have the option to not participate in this, to opt out of anything, and that we ring-fence protections, like we have warrants to go into people's houses or to look at their mail, in the same way that we have protections in the digital arena, but no to a centralised biometric surveillance state. Anyone who's concerned, just look back at the last few years. And we can do this, right? In Britain, we can shine a light internationally. We've got a very unique situation here. And so what we do, what your listeners and viewers do, Kevin, will really count.
Well, our listeners, I think our audience are with me on this, and you. This isn't British. It doesn't achieve anything. We don't need it. This is for the government. It's not for us. And we're not falling for any of this nonsense about, oh, it'll make life so much more convenient. It won't. it won't. Also, we're going to no doubt have to give in all our information, and then the government database will get hacked by Putin, and God knows what the ramifications of that will be. Alan, great to talk to you. Thank you so much. That's the great Alan Miller, co-founder of the Together Declaration. What do you think? Digital ID cards, huge petition, 3 million people. That is a massive petition. People don't want this. The government began its policy by saying there's growing support for digital ID cards, and then they found out that there are only about 33% of the people sort of thought they might be an idea, maybe, okay. And then as soon as it became a reality, that plummeted from 34%, I think it was, who were broadly in favour of the idea, to minus 14%. So they can't say there is growing support. There is no support for this. Got a couple of texts on it. This is from Robert. I won't be partaking in digital ID, and I will give up my phone if necessary. Not a problem, because of course it will be intertwined with your mobile phones as well. What we got here? The government squandered, this is from Stephen, the government squandered £37 billion on a simple test and trace app during COVID, which never worked. Anyone who thinks they have the competence to introduce digital ID needs their head examined. Yeah, saying that this government, this government, I wouldn't trust them to run a bath. Running a digital ID scheme, you just know it's a disaster. Stephen's right. Their test and trace app during COVID was an absolute joke, a disaster. So good point, Stephen.